Hey everybody, my name is Kelly. I make videos related to thrifting and DIY projects of all kinds. Today's video is really exciting because it is part 4 of our holiday series that is in collaboration with A Thrifty Notion. If you're new to who A Thrifty Notion is, they are a secondhand and dead stock fabric and notion store located in Ogden, Kansas. They do most of their business online. I actually work for Liv, the shop owner, and content creation is part of my job. So this series is a 6-part series with 3 of the videos on my channel and 3 of them on Thrifty's channel. This is the 4th video, so I'll link the first 3 down below if you missed them. And if you'd like to keep up with the series, don't forget to subscribe and head on over to A Thrifty Notion's channel to do the same. We'll probably be doing more things like this in the future. I've really enjoyed the collaboration aspect of it. It's been really fun, and I hope to do more themed collaborations with A Thrifty Notion going forward. But today's video is another ornament video. So if you've been keeping up with the series, you know that so far we've done 2 different ornament DIY videos and 1 video on how to make fabric gift bags. That one was on Thrifty's channel, and I highly recommend it if you didn't watch it because it's a great sustainable way to package your gifts. It's also a really easy beginner sewing project, and it is something that you can use for any holiday. So it's not just Christmas related. It could work for any holiday, birthday, a wedding gift, whatever you want to do. It's a nice, really pleasing way to package gifts. So today's video is another ornament video, but we're using a different material. Our main focus today is going to be paper. And this is the 3rd year in a row that I'm making paper ornaments. So I have some tricks up my sleeve. I've practiced these quite a bit, and I've made a few different ones. So I'm going to be sharing 3 different styles with you today. So the first tip I have if you're going to make ornaments out of paper is to go to your local craft store and rummage through their single sheets of paper. They cost a little bit more than the packs that you can buy, but you can really be intentional about what you're choosing, and you can choose things based on the style that you want to go for on your tree. I picked out some really subtle iridescent textured papers as well as some crinkly textured ones as well. I didn't use them for any of these ornaments, but I am saving those for future ornaments. And what I like to do is pick up those and then also pick up a pack of plain cardstock. I like to coordinate the color of the cardstock with the color of whatever my ornament decorative paper is, and then I laminate those pages together. So what I mean by laminate is that I just layer a layer of the plain cardstock, coat that with Elmer's glue or any other just standard craft glue, and then lay the decorative paper on top, and then I put something heavy on it and let it completely dry. The reason I recommend putting something on top of it is just to keep it from curling while it dries, and then once it's dry it'll be a lot stiffer and sturdier than just regular sheets of paper, and the ornaments will hold up better over time. This does obviously add bulk to your paper, so for some of the ornament designs that we're going to do, it will impact how the ornament lays and how the paper lays on the design. But in my opinion, it's better to have something that's a little sturdier, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of the aesthetics, just a tiny bit. It's one of those nitpicky things that no one's going to notice but you, and so for me it's worth it because then I have an ornament that will last longer over time. The first ornament design I have to show you is one that I've made for the last 2 years, and I like these because they can be obviously customized to whatever color palette you're wanting to do, but I also like that you can make them out of different materials. If you have any stiffer ribbon or stiffened fabric, you could use just starch on your fabric, or you could use interfacing. You could make these out of one of those materials. You could also make them out of leather strips. I've done that in the past. So you can do a cool mixed media effect with these as well. I really enjoy them, and I also like that you can change the shape. So this one is a little bent out of shape. I think a cat might have gotten a hold of it, but it's one of the more round ones. It's kind of middle ground between super round and more saucer shaped. I have here an example of one of the more saucer shaped ones, and then one of them that Pepper just knocked off is definitely a very round, smaller one, and this one doesn't have any beads. So you'll notice these ones had beads, this one doesn't. I like to make them all different styles and then have kind of a mix of different shapes, sizes, and styles on my tree. I've made these ornaments 2 different ways. For the cord that runs through the ornament, this time I use the same cord that you see up here. It runs all the way through, as you can see. In the past, I've made these with wire, so I started the wire with a bead on the end to stop the paper from slipping through. Then I stuck the wire through the paper, did another bead, and then did a little loop on top, and then that's what I attached the hanger to. You could go that route, Or if you have a stiffer cord like this, you could just make them with the cord and just tie a knot at the end to make sure they don't slip off. So either way works really well. If you have materials on hand already and you have wire but you don't have stiff cord, I would use wire. If you're going out and buying supplies, it's completely up to your personal preference. They both work really well. So to make this one, you could just cut a bunch of strips of paper. I believe I used 6 strips to make this ornament, and I cut them to a little over 1/2 inch wide. I want these for the larger ornament to be the full width of the paper, so it's about 12 inches. Once you have the strips cut out, you put a hole in the very middle of the strip and then one on each end. And then you'll put all of the strips on your ornament with the middle hole. Take those ends up to the top and feed all of the ends on. And then if you want to put a decorative bead at top, you add that. And that's all you do. One thing I did to make the shape come out nicer and curve better around the ornament is that I did take those strips that I cut out from the thickened paper, and I took a pin and put it between my thumb and the pin and pulled on it and kind of made it shape around the pin. That kind of curved the paper and made it make that ornament shape a little bit better. So that's the first style of ornament. If you want to make different shapes of these, like the saucer shape and the round shape, all you do is squish the paper more. So these ornaments are exactly the same length of paper. I just smushed this one and I didn't smush this one as much. So that's the difference between these two shapes. The next ornament design I have is this snowflake. Just like all snowflakes are unique, yours can be too, so you don't have to do this exact design. Just play around with your paper loops and paper strips on your table and you can make all different designs from this concept. So I don't have the exact measurements of each loop for this ornament because I was just kind of playing around with it, learning as I went and coming up with a design. But you can see here that there are 6 main arms to this ornament. So if you look at one of the arms of the ornament, you can see that it's just 3 stacked loops with 2 smaller loops on either side. And then I just had 6 of those and I glued them together. And I added the middle detail with some hot glue. So it's really simple, really easy. When you're gluing these inner ends of your paper together, I would recommend using just regular craft glue instead of hot glue because I do think that hot glue might thicken that area too much. You guys know if you've used hot glue before that it does add quite a bit of bulk to what you're working on. It will add a thickness to that section that you're gluing. So because there are so many layers in here, if you were adding hot glue in between all of those layers, I think it would thicken the area too much. So I like to use craft glue for that and then use little paper like binder clips to hold them together while they were drying. And if you don't have binder clips, they sell them at the dollar store. They're super cheap and I would recommend picking up a pack of those because they're useful for so many DIY projects. The last ornament I have to show you was made with the same concept as the snowflake. So really I just had a couple of leftover arms. I originally thought I was going to do 8 arms on my ornament and I ended up doing 6. So I had these 2 left over and I decided to make a little angel. She's so sweet. So it's just the 2 arms glued together. I wrapped a strip of paper around the middle to hold the 2 arms together. And then I added a tassel and a little wooden ring at the top. The wooden ring is glued on with just hot glue, so I would say that this is probably not the most secure ornament, but I figured if it came undone, I would just glue it again. That's the thing is I really do try to double up on methods to hold things together and not rely on hot glue too much. But sometimes you just have to go with what works, and that was what worked in this instance. And then I added a little hanging loop from the top. So this one really builds off of what we did with the snowflake. I don't have a ton of footage to show you how to make this one because it is fairly simple, but if you've watched the footage on how to make the snowflake and how to make the tassels in my other videos, then you'll know how to make this guy, and it's really sweet. Alright you guys, that's all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you make any of these ornaments, please tag me on Instagram. My accounts are all down below. Don't forget that all of the other videos in this series will also be linked below if you haven't checked them out, and I hope to see you here soon. Happy crafting, happy holidays, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.